everybody! So today I am going to be showing you my spring TBR. I used to do monthly TBRs, but I found them really difficult to stick to, so I thought doing them more like seasonally would be a bit easier for me. So spring for me is March, April, and May, so these are the books that I'm going to be reading throughout those 3 months. So the first book on my TBR is Dorothy Must Die by Danielle Page. And this is sort of like, not a retelling, it's more of like a sequel to The Wizard of Oz. So in this book, Dorothy finds a way to go back to Oz, and when she gets there, she gains a lot of power and it all kind of goes to her head. So now she's ruling Oz with like the Tin Man and the Scarecrow and the Lion as like her evil henchmen. So this book follows a girl called Amy who is from Kansas, and she's kind of having a bad life, so a tornado comes and takes her off to Oz, and when she gets there she is told, and it says on the back, remove the Tin Woodsman's heart, steal the Scarecrow's brain, take the Lion's courage, and then Dorothy must die. Only you can make Oz a free land again. So this book sounds so interesting. I'm currently buddy reading it with my friend Christina from Christina's Journey. I'll leave a link to her channel in the description box. We're only about 100 pages into it, but so far I'm really enjoying it. One of my favorite things about this book so far is the writing. Danielle Page has like really descriptive writing where I can very vividly picture like how messed up Oz is now. So this is the first book on my TBR, and if this book stays as good as it is so far, I'll probably move on to the rest of the series because this is the first book in, I believe, a quartet. The next book on my TBR is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I have been reading this book since January and it's just taking me a really long time to get through. I believe I only have about 200 pages left to it, but like 150 pages into reading it, I just couldn't take it anymore, so I decided to listen to the audiobook. The audiobook is not much better because it's a LibriVox audiobook that I'm listening to, so like each chapter is done by a different narrator. I'm just really not enjoying this story, and I probably would have DNF'd it by now if I didn't have to read it for school. The next book I've also been reading since January. I'm like really slacking behind in all my books, and that is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. There's like no point in holding it up because I took the dust jacket off, but is this not like the most hideous color combo ever? It's like pea soup and mustard. But I've been reading this book since January. I'm only that far into it, and I just think have had, oh, Coco, look, say hello to the people. I've been reading this since January. I'm only that far into it, but I think I'm just getting tired of like, I don't know, I feel like these books have a lot of pointless kind of just like domestic stuff going on that I just don't care to read about. I just want to get straight to the action parts. So I think that is my biggest problem with this book so far, and it's like 800 pages or something. So yeah. All the rest of the books on my TBR are all going to be rereads. I don't know why, but lately I've been really in the mood for rereading books. So the first one is Nancy Drew. This is the newer versions. I used to read Nancy Drew when I was a kid, and I think I got up to like number 25 or something in this series, and then I stopped. But I would really like to reread it and carry on with the series because I just love Nancy Drew. Even though they're really tiny books, I don't think you're ever too old to read a middle grade book, just saying. This is the first book in the series. It's called Without a Trace. This is the only one I own besides, I think, like the 13th book. I'd have to get the rest of them from the library. But I'm really looking forward to rereading this. I just love mystery books like this that are really easy to follow. Next on my TBR is The Chronicles of Narnia. This is a very big and intimidating full collection of them. So this is sort of going to be a reread for me. I claimed to have read all of the books when I was younger, but to be honest, I'm pretty sure I skipped over the ones that were made into movies because back then I figured I've seen the movie, I don't need to read the book. Now I would really like to go back and reread all of these because I honestly cannot remember anything from any of these books. Like, I remember the rings from The Magician's Nephew, and then I remember they use the rings again when in the last battle when they go back, but that's literally all I remember from any of the ones that weren't made into movies. So I feel like I'm do a reread for these. And I'd like to know your guys' opinions in the comments. When you read a big bind-up book like this, do you guys add it into Goodreads as one book, or would you enter it in as each individual book? I kind of want to add it in individually so I can be like 7 books ahead in my reading challenge, but then I feel like it's sort of cheating. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Now this next series I might reread this spring, I'm not sure yet, but randomly last night I was just really in the mood to reread the series and rewatch the movies, and that is the Twilight Saga. I don't know why I just randomly want to reread Twilight. I think it might be because they put the first movie on Netflix, so I've been kind of wanting to watch it recently. I actually started rereading Twilight last year at like the beginning of the year, and then I ended up DNFing the book because I just wasn't in the mood to read it at the time. But I loved all those books when I first read them, and like, how long has it been since somebody has had Twilight on their TBR on BookTube? I would be holding the book, but it's like behind layers and layers of books on one of my bookshelves. Anywho, that is my spring TBR. I'm sorry if this video was kind of all over the place or if my thoughts weren't very well put together. I'm kind of out of sync with filming because I haven't done it in a while. But that is all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! So the next spring for me is March, April, taken off to Oz in a volcano. That's the one.